Hello everybody, nice to meet you. Today we're going to talk about one-to-one marketing and how to implement it with Sitecore and Sitecore CDP in e-commerce solutions. Let me introduce myself. I'm Igor Zharikov, Sitecore lead developer at Brimit, and I was honored to be awarded as Sitecore MVP 2023. And as you can see on this presentation, on this slide, I'm not the only author of this presentation. We made it together with Sergey Baranov, who is as well a Sitecore lead developer at Brimit, many times Sitecore MVP, but unfortunately he's not able to be here. So with his consent, with his approval, I'm here to present our work together, our common work to you. So let's start. Here is the agenda of my presentation. We will start with the definition of one-to-one marketing, why it's important for business. Then we will check how it can be implemented for real projects, which steps needs to be done to implement it. After that, we will take a look on some marketing campaign strategies and review some out-of-the-box features which has Sitecore CDP, customer data platform, and Sitecore Send. And at the end, I will show you the demo to show just how it can work, how it can be configured all together, and of course, I will answer your questions. So before we will start with one-to-one marketing, I just wanted to ensure that it's clear for everyone that all services which I will mention later during this presentation. So for our solution, we use a few services from Sitecore DXP, Digital Experience Platform. And the first service is Sitecore Personalize. It allows you to run different experiences, basically to personalize customer behavior on your site. Usually it comes with CDP, so it's a common thing that you can hear CDP and personalize and CDP. But it's two different services actually. So CDP is a storage for customers, so it's customer database that is accessible for multiple channels. Sitecore Order Cloud is e-commerce solution from Sitecore, and Sitecore Send is personalized email automation platform. Contains lots of different integrations, email builder, some analytics, and marketing automation. So now we can start with one-to-one marketing. So it's a strategy that focuses on customer needs to establish strong relationship with consumers and ensure personalized content. This means business would likely promote certain products to a specific user or a small group of users based on their preferences. It enables brands to boost customer loyalty and improve customer lifetime value. But before we will review it later, we need to also understand why it's important for business. So let's take a look on some statistics. 91% of consumers more likely to shop with brand who provide some relevant offers and products for them. 72% of consumers engage with marketing messages that are customized to their interests. 80% only shop with the brands who personalize their experience. And 90% of consumers are willing to share their behavioral data if some additional benefits will be provided, like the shopping will be cheaper or easier. So that means that one-to-one marketing is a win-win strategy for both business and consumers. Consumers can share their data to get some benefit from it, and business can increase profit using this strategy. So since one-to-one marketing is based on individual relationship with customers, we need to perform several steps to establish good communication. And here I've prepared all them, so let's review how to get started. The first step is identification. You need to collect the data of your customers, gather as much information as possible, identify profiles, interests, needs, preferences, expectations, basically everything you can identify, and you need to store it somewhere. As well, you can identify some e-commerce statistics, like how much your users spend, how often. You can do it in Sitecore CDP or in other clouds, for example, for your e-commerce solution. The next step is differentiation, and these steps involve some analysis. You need to put your users into some segments, easily identifiable clusters for better targeting. You can divide by different parameters. There are different types of differentiation, and we will review them later. The third step is an interaction. You can use all previously collected information to establish contact with your current or potential customers. You can reach out them using the best message you can achieve a response from them, like your website, emails, push notifications, and so on. So need to remember that conversation leads to conversion, so we need to use all available and working opportunities to contact our customer. And the last step is a customization. We can perform all the personalization at this step, so we can customize products, services, offers, and so on. Basically use all possibilities to close the deal. So now let's take a closer view to each of the steps. For, as I mentioned previously as well, for identification stage, we can store data about customer profiles, about customers in Sitecore customer data platform. We have, I hope it's seen that we can see here some statistics, some analytics about user activity, some orders, or just profile information. And for order history, we're using Order Cloud. During the differentiation step, or segmentation in our words, we divide our target audience into segments based on their needs or any individual parameters. There are actually 4 common types of differentiation. So the first one is demographics, based on some demographic parameters, based on age, sex, income, gender, based on job. This information is usually stored somewhere in the profile, and you can use you can write your query or just create some segment using the database where you're storing your profiles. Another type of the differentiation is geographic segmentation. It's usually based on location, based on country, city, maybe based on preferred language of your audience. For example, you can use Sitecore geolocation service to retrieve this information, to store it somewhere, and use it for differentiation. And Another type of differentiation, segmentation is a lifestyle. It's based on what your audience prefer, what they value, what are their attitudes. It sounds very abstract, but it's usually used in the recommendations. So there are different types of recommendations. We won't focus that much on them. And Sergey had a really great presentation about how to implement different types of recommendations in e-commerce. And at the end of the presentation, there will be a link to video. And the last, and for us most important type of the segmentation is behavior segmentation. So the idea here is to somehow group our customers based on their behavior, based on their engagement with our brand. It's not that easy to understand how to start with it, how to measure it, how to use it. So we need to use the term called customer lifetime value. It's a metric that represents a total net profit that the company can expect to generate from the customer through the entire relationship. So it's just a definition, but it's still not very clear how to measure it. So here, for us, can help so-called RFM analysis. RFM is one of the best marketing strategy for segmenting users based on their behavior, based on the data which you just store. This method evaluates customer spending patterns across three parameters, three areas. It's recency, frequency, and monetary value. So for recency is a definition of how recently a customer bought from you. Frequency, a score of how frequently they bought from you, usually over 1 or 2 years. And monetary value, how much in total they spent, again, during this period of time. Those metrics are important indicators of customer behavior. So frequency and monetary value affects customer lifetime value, and recency affects retention, the measure of engagement. Basically, everyone wants a predictable and even more repeatable way to grow their business, and for that you need to kind of be a mind reader of your customers, know what they exactly want on each step, what are their expectations, and here RFM analysis can help you. Each of the parameters, R, F, and M, is a number. It's a score rank, usually from 1 to 3 or from 1 to 5. You can choose your size by your own. But what does this score mean and how to calculate it? So let's review the segmentation itself. First, you need to analyze the customer you've got and work out sensible ranges for recency, frequency, and monetary values. Then you split it into 3 or 5 equal buckets. They can be equal in a size or range of values, but it often works better if the buckets are an equal distribution of customers. Then you put each customer into one of those buckets and give them a score. In other words, for each parameter, recency, frequency, and monetary value, you need to sort your consumer list by this parameter, then split this list of consumers into same size sublists, for example, on 5 sublists, and depending in which sublist this customer is, you assign the score for each of the parameters. And after that, for each customer, you have three parameters specified. So for each parameter, bigger value means that customer is kind of better for you. So as you can see, for example, for monetary value, 5 score is for customers who spend most in comparison to others. But what to do with those numbers? Those cluster numbers are not actually very meaningful. It's better to combine them into segments of behavioral groups. Here we assign segments based on recency and frequency. So, for example, champions are the users who have the biggest, the most recency and frequency. And on the other side, we have hibernating customers whose recency and frequency is very low. As you can see here, previously we talked about 3 parameters, but here we have only 2. Is because for easier visualization, I will show it in the next slide. But at the same time, we also, at the moment, we are focusing on the behavioral segmentation of users. And for example, if customer in the hibernating segment, it almost doesn't matter how much does this user spend, because this user is still hibernating. We still need to focus on the engagement, him back to interaction with our brand. But we can use monetary parameter later for some personalization. So here is a visualization of RFM analysis. It's usually visualized in a flatter 2-dimensional image, making it much easier to understand in comparison to 3-dimensional diagram. So on the horizontal x-axis we have recency, and on the vertical y-axis we have frequency. In this visualization, new customers appear on the bottom right of this diagram, and then if they begin to spend frequently with a decent value, they can rise quickly up to potential loyalists and maybe even become champions. But on the other side, we need to also to keep in mind that loyal customers can drift at risk or to need attention if they begin to spend less often or haven't ordered in a while. So we reviewed identification and the differentiation steps, and we have 2 last steps, interaction and customization. So to perform effective interaction with our customer, we need to plan and execute some marketing campaign, but to make it successful, we need to keep in mind some patterns and goals. As we mentioned previously, each customer group has different needs, so it's always better to communicate with each group according to their preferences, to their relevant requests. So, for example, we can create email campaign, use some one-to-one personalized email marketing. So we can, with help of these features, we can help users to move from worse segments to better ones. So to increase their loyalty and get higher revenue. So let's take a look on a few email campaign examples which target different user groups. The group's example is a reactivation campaign. So we are trying to interest users who haven't ordered in a while. As you can see, for recency, as you can see, recency parameter is very low for those users. So they haven't placed orders for a long time, and that includes users from can't lose them, at risk, and hibernating segments. So we find out what is the target audience for the campaign, and here we have sample reactivation email campaign that so the main idea here is that step by step we need to remind user about us. We need to, on the first step, we try to provide him some personal recommendations and wait a few days, and then provide some promo, some popular products. If the order is still not completed, we can just remind about our promo. If the order is completed, we should run some transactional email, should send some transactional email. So we use here a few features to improve email efficiency. It's personalized recommendations. It's a promo. So basically we can provide some promo code. Everyone loves bargain. It always can give a food for thought for hibernating customers. We're not spamming user. We're trying to patiently wait for its response. If we still not succeed, we send another email. And with help of this campaign, we can potentially move users from loyal or from worse segments like hibernating to loyal or potential loyal customers. And which is the most interesting for me is that at the end of this campaign we have either completed order or not completed order, but by the way RFM scores will be recalculated, so during the next analysis run it's very common that the user segment will be changed, so probably we will need to target another campaign on that user. And so here we can see as well some welcome email campaign. So yeah, here we send an email confirmation for the newly created user, and then we remind about it. If it's not confirmed, we can send as well some recommendations. We can, of course, continue the chain of communication with our customer after welcome to email is sent, or we can just remove the user if user is not actually interested in our product. Another good example is abandoned cart email campaign. So according to the statistics which Sitecore has and provides for us, about 69% of all shopping carts are abandoned. That means that those carts are not converted to an order. But at the same time, if we send about 100 abandoned cart emails to remind user about forgotten or missing purchases, so 35 of them will be opened, 21 will be clicked, and almost 11 orders will be completed. Yeah, of course, 11 is not 100, but it's still better than 0. So with abandoned cart campaign, we can return users to our website. And yeah, here as well a few tricks are used. We can wait some time, not to spam the user. We can also create some trigger to notify users about some discounts on active products in the shopping cart. Some other campaigns can be configured as well. So we can have happy birthday campaign to congratulate user with his birthdays. Maybe provide some promo code. Loyalty campaign to reward most loyal customers. Repeat purchases reminder to ensure that customer doesn't run out of stock. Survey buyers to learn more about our customers, to get some their feedback to us, and upsell, cross-sell, and other product recommendations to increase revenue after purchases. If to talk about how to start and how to implement it with Sitecore Send, we need to use some automation plans. So we can create automation plan from scratch in Sitecore Send or based on existing out-of-the-box recipe. And as I remember, we can also create our own recipes or templates. And then automation plan itself looks like a block scheme. It's on the right side of the slide. It contains of trigger, filters, and actions, and we will review it during the demo. If to talk about how to use RFM analysis with Sitecore Send, we can implement it as well using tags. Tags basically used here for categorization of our subscribed users. We can assign list of tags to each member of our email list and then target them during segmentation, which is also available in Sitecore Send, or during automation plan. So here is how it can work together on Sitecore CDP and Order Cloud. We have some customers. We should retrieve them, segment using RFM analysis, then set this tag to into Sitecore Send, into Sitecore CDP as well. We can set the segment, and I will show you on the demo that when we set the tag to a customer, we can enroll this user in the marketing automation. So here is time for the demo. Let me switch to duplicate, so you can see it. So here is our demo site. It's e-commerce solution based on Sitecore GSS. It's deployed to Vercel, as you can see, as a backend for products, for taxonomy, for catalog. Basically, we're using Order Cloud. So it's a fully available e-commerce solution based on Sitecore DXP services. It's also connected to Sitecore CDP and Sitecore Send. But first of all, let me show you that it's connected to Order Cloud, as I mentioned. So here we have a few sites here, and under site configuration we have catalog ID field. Zoom in it a bit. So this catalog ID we take from Order Cloud. It's used for synchronizing products from Order Cloud into Sitecore. It's used as well to show all those products here. So we can browse this site, browse products, add them to the cart. Yeah, so the next thing I wanted to mention is if to follow the steps which I mentioned during my presentation. The first step is identification. So to identify customers, we have signing form here, and then this site is connected to Sitecore customer data platform. So for example, I can log in here, open customer data platform, and as you can see, I'm just was last seen 1 minute ago. So here is this user automatically came to Sitecore CDP. We can review some statistics, some analytics about this user. We can review timeline to see which experiences, which basically which experiences were run on this customer. There are actually two different platforms, which I was mentioning in the very beginning. So we have Personalize and we have CDP and Personalize. They're very, very similar, but as you can see, for example, CDP and Personalize allows you to check and to see the customers, to search for a customer by just an email. You can as well filter here by customer or by visitor. So visitor is basically not known customer. And this here in CDP and Personalize, this data is kind of persistent. We can store it. We as well have batch segments. We can segment users. We have audience sync to sync it with some different platforms, some other services, other platforms. But at the same time, in the Personalize only, we can only run experiences, experiments. So we have a few missing tabs here in the header, and basically this means that we're not able to use Personalize only for the identification, for storing customer information, but we can use it for interacting with the customer. We can as well, for example, in Personalize only search for a guest, but we need exact guest reference to find it, to see some statistics about it. So I would say it's a limited version, just Personalize, but to get full experience of analytics from Sitecore, we need to use CDP and Personalize here. So it's the first point where we can store the data about our customers, and the second is Order Cloud. So here is admin UI for Order Cloud. I have a sample order here, so we store information about the user who made this order. We're storing all the commerce information here, and we can use it to run RFM analysis on that data. Actually, there are options to export data from both CDP and commerce and Sitecore or the cloud, but as I know, it's easier to fetch data from Order Cloud in comparison to Sitecore CDP. So and as well, this site is connected to Sitecore Send. Let me open Sitecore Send. So as soon as we know the user, we know user email, as soon as user is logged in, we can as well push this user to Sitecore send to some specified list. For us, in our solution, it's implemented using the special experience, which so we send from the site, from our site, some events to Sitecore personalized or Sitecore CDP, and then we handle those events on CDP side. For example, here we can see that we are tracking add, checkout, identify, and page view events. Then we have some decision model to prepare data for a readable format for Sitecore send. So here is some JavaScript logic to convert all the data from CDP event format to Sitecore send format. And then we use a connection. We use a connection to our tracking service, which finally sends this data to Sitecore send, and then the user can appear here. We can track some events in Sitecore send, like add product or order completed and others. It's a custom solution to connect those different services from Sitecore DXCP platform, but it's also probably more easier way to connect your site to Sitecore send. It's you should just go to the sites here, and here it is install connection script, and you just have some JavaScript code which you need to put on your site, and some examples how to track different events. So identifies visitors when visitor is logged in, or when user subscribed to some newsletter. Basically, as soon as user's email is available, you can call identify visitor event. You can track page views, track item added to a cart, to push some product properties to Sitecore send. Also track order completed events, product view events, and as well some custom event can be analyzed as well and triggered. So now let's go back to our steps. The first step was identification, and another step, as you can remember, is the segmentation itself. So to segment users, we need to use an RFM analysis. We using our custom service here, but if to talk in more details how it's implemented, we have an endpoint to sync the data from Sitecore Cloud to export all the orders, all products, basically all information about customers, store it on the file system. To do it, we should provide catalog ID. Here is the same catalog ID which is used in the site configuration, basically to connect Sitecore and Order Cloud. Let me show you some code. So here we have this sync action. We're using Order Cloud service to get the products by provided catalog ID. We store those products. Then as well we using we're retrieving all the order history for the catalog, again store it, and basically we're preparing the data for the analysis. And this analysis segmentation itself is done in the order/RFM method. We again need to provide some catalog ID here. And here in the RFM action, we load in previously stored models and push it to calculate RFM scores method. And here we can see the implementation of .NET implementation of what was described in the RFM analysis and in the RFM segmentation. So we have all the orders, we group them by user ID, then we calculate the monitor value for each user, calculate frequency and recency as well. And after that, we sorting by the recency parameter, partitioning the user, so partitioning the list to multiple sublists, and assign the recency, frequency, and monitor value to the user. And at the end, we as well need to find out the segment based on those RFM scores, and here we have this logic implemented. And after that, as we calculate all the RFM scores for our user, we use these methods, update segments, and so here we're just retrieving the current segment for user. If it's not the same as computed, we using set user RFM method, and here we set so during this client post async message we set in segment to enter Sitecore CDP. And here we as well adding tags to Sitecore send. So after that, the segmentation is done, and we can take a look on the interaction and communication with the user sections. Here, as you can see, it's not updated, but here, as you can see, we have some special sections still interested. We have as well recommended for you products. So those sections are implemented as well in Sitecore CDP with a special experiences. Here we have two experiences for recommended product, for abandoned cart product, which will be shown on the website, and we use special connection from Sitecore CDP to with a type of AI connection, and we're using these recommendations endpoint service, where based on the required type of the recommendation we can calculate, provide them, and so on. So, but we won't focus that much on it today. And another source of communication with our customers is Sitecore Send. So using the email marketing. For example, as I mentioned previously, we can filter our customers by some tag. So, for example, some loyal customer, or need attention, for example, and so on. Or if to talk about, for example, previously shown campaign reactivation, we have a special tag for it. So any user which is in the, which should be on which we should start the reactivation campaign, we can just add this tag to the user, and then we can review the campaign itself. So we have here the reactivation campaign. Everything here starts with a trigger. There are different types of triggers. So this type is when a specific tag is added. So when the reactivation tag is added to a subscriber, then this subscriber will be enrolled into this campaign, and we can start performing some actions for that customer. We can build and send the email for this user. We have in the Sitecore Send email builder, we have for the product collection, we need to specify some layout type, different layout types listed here for cart abandonment. I will show it later how, in the abandoned cart campaign. But here we use product recommendation. We should select a website, and then we should choose a criteria by which we should sort the products. So we have as well some wait actions. Of course, in the real world solution, we shouldn't wait for 1 minute. We should wait for more time, because it's just for testing. Here we have some filtering, some conditions, so we can check if the product was purchased or not. And this check is performed based on events. So if the product is added to the cart, we send add event. If the product is purchased, we send order completed. So we can use this information in the email campaigns, and then we basically can create this long diagram, this long block schema for different conditions and actions. Also, I want to show you again this email that for rendering product link, we can use just some special tags from special Sitecore Send syntax. We should use this product URL tags, then we can add as well some UTM source and UTM campaign parameters, so that we can track the links not only in Sitecore Send but in some other analytics storage like Sitecore CDP, for example. And if to show you the final mail, I have already prepared mail. So we have here the first email that we're asking, don't forget about us. Here are some recommendations for you. We have this type of links here. It's Sitecore Send, replace it for tracking, for analytics. And I hope it will be loaded. Yeah. And when it's loaded, it contains all UTM source and UTM campaign parameters which we included here. So it was a reactivation campaign. We have as well abandoned cart campaign with different actions, different recommendations. Just quickly, we'll show you the layout type for this type of container. So it's here we use layout type cart abandonment, and it will automatically grab the products which were added to the cart, but the order is not completed. And probably the last thing I want to show is that we just have different type of statistics here. For example, for abandoned cart, we have for each message we send, for each email we send in this automation plan, have statistics by how many times it was sent, how many times it was opened, how many times it was clicked, and so on. We can click on this diagram, small pictogram, and have here some graphics, some graphical interpretation of them of our emails. So here is some email links and some statistics where it was open. So basically, all the statistics we need about the emails. So probably that's it for the demo. Moment. So here are some useful links which we use for preparation for this presentation, or just to get some knowledge about what are the recommendations, how to deal with it, and so on.